It started on a Tuesday, a gray Tuesday, the kind of day where the London sky looks like dirty dishwater. My wife, Sarah, 10 years. 10 years of I love you before sleep. 10 years of sharing the same tube ride into the city. 10 years of thinking I was the luckiest man in the borough. She was late for a client meeting. Sarah was always rushing. Bright, chaotic, beautiful Sarah. She gave me a peck on the cheek. It felt warm. It felt real. Lies are often warmer than the truth. She never leaves her laptop open. Never. It's her vault. Her digital handbag. But there it was. The screen dimming like a sleepy eye waiting to close. I wasn't snooping. I swear, I just wanted to check the train times for my mum's visit this weekend. My phone was charging in the bedroom. It was laziness, pure laziness that saved my life. I woke the screen up. A nice beach. We went there 5 years ago. Happy times. I opened the browser. Empty. The search history. Completely wiped clean. Now, that's odd. Sarah lives online. Recipes, news, shopping. Why wipe it on a Tuesday morning before a meeting? Before I go further, be honest in the comments down below. Would you check your partner's search history if you had the chance? Or is privacy sacred no matter what? Let me know. I need to know I'm not the only one. I almost closed the lid. I almost went back to my tea and my ignorance. But then I saw it, tucked away in the corner, a plain yellow folder. Recipes, Winter 2024. Sarah hates cooking in winter. She lives off takeaways when it gets dark early. My gut tightened. You know that feeling? When you're walking down a dark alley and the hairs on your neck stand up. That in my own bright kitchen. I double dash, clicked. My breath caught in my throat. No lasagna recipes here. Just folders. Phase 1. Assets. The exit. The silence in the flat suddenly felt very loud. I felt like I was burgling my own life. I opened the first folder. Phase 1. It was a spreadsheet. A financial map. My finances. But it was all wrong. Movements of money. £50 here. 100 there. Over 2 years. Siphoned off from our joint savings into an account I'd never seen. A digital drip feed bleeding us dry. I opened a PDF. It was draft divorce papers. Dated 6 months ago. 6 months ago. We just booked a holiday last week. We were talking about maybe trying for a baby. I needed to know why. Was there someone else? I opened communication. They weren't love letters. They were status reports. Sarah to M. He suspects nothing. The ESA transfer is complete. To Sarah. Good girl. Stick to the timeline. We need him isolated by Christmas. Isolated by Christmas. I looked at our wedding photo on the wall. The smiling woman in white wasn't my wife. She was an undercover agent. And I was the mark. Then the front door lock turned. She was back. Forget the client meeting. She must have realized. I had 3 seconds to hide 10 years of betrayal. Asterisk, I slammed the lid. It sounded like a gunshot in the quiet flat. I grabbed a towel. Wiping an imaginary stain, my heart was rattling against my ribs like a trapped bird. She walked in. The energy changed instantly. The air got thinner. Her eyes did a quick sweep of the room. They landed on the silver laptop. then on me. "Forgot my phone charger," she said. Her voice was light, airy, the voice I fell in love with, the voice of a liar. She walked past me to the table. I smelled her perfume, jasmine and something else. Fear? She hovered her hand over the laptop lid. Did she know I'd opened it? Did I leave a digital fingerprint? She grabbed the charger. She didn't open the computer. She turned to me and smiled. A shark's smile. All teeth, no warmth. "You look pale, darling. You okay?" "You look pale, darling." I managed a nod. "Just a headache," I lied. We were both liars now. Welcome to the marriage. She left. I watched from the window. She didn't head for the tube station. A black saloon car pulled up. A man was driving. It had to be. The next 7 days were hell. I was living with a ghost. We ate dinner. We watched telly. I slept next to the architect of my destruction. Every kind word she said felt like poison dripping into my ear. I have to ask, could you do it? Could you sleep next to someone you knew was planning to destroy you just to get the proof you needed? Drop a yes or nitrogen monoxide in the comments. I need to know if I'm stronger or weaker than most. I needed that folder. I needed copies. I bought a secure USB drive. I waited for the shower to run. That 10 minutes of running water was my window of opportunity. The progress bar moved like molasses. 20%. 40%. I could hear her humming in the shower. A happy little tune while she washed away the guilt. The water stopped. 90%. Come on. Come on, Dung. I yanked the drive out just as the bathroom door opened. She walked out in a cloud of steam. She looked at me. Did I look guilty? I felt like I had "I know everything" tattooed on my forehead. That night I went into the spare room. I told her I had work to catch up on. I plugged in the drive. I opened the final folder. The exit. This wasn't just about money anymore. This wasn't divorce. I saw a date. 2 weeks from now. And next to it, 2 words that made my blood run cold. The accident. Asterisk look at us. Babes in the wood. I remember that day in Brighton. The wind whipped her hair across her face, and she laughed. God, I love that laugh. It was the sound of home. When did that laugh turn into a lie? Was it always a lie? The folder on my screen suggested it was. The assets folder had scans of my life insurance policies. The big ones. The ones that pay out double for accidental death. I found emails. They discussed me like I was a lame horse they needed to put down. Wrote, "Is he still taking the vitamins you give him?" Sarah replied, "Every morning." Like a good little boy, the vitamins. She started buying them for me 6 months ago. Said I looked run down. Said she wanted to take care of me. I was swallowing her care every morning with my orange juice. What was in them? Slow poison? Something to make me drowsy at the wheel? The accident was already in my bloodstream. This is where I almost broke. The betrayal of trust. It's worse than physical pain. Have you ever discovered someone you loved wasn't who they said they were? How did you cope? Tell me in the comments. Give me some strength here. I had to know who M was. The architect. The other half of this 2-person demolition team. I found a photo he sent her. A view from an apartment window. He got lazy. He left the location data on Kensington, of course. Expensive tastes. My life savings were probably paying the rent. I became the spy. I called in sick. I hired a car, a beat-up Ford she wouldn't recognize. I waited down the street. When she left, I followed. My hands were sweating on the wheel. I felt sick. I was stalking my wife. This is what they reduced me to. And there he was. Tall, expensive suit. The kind of guy who looks at a menu and doesn't check the prices. He kissed her. It wasn't the way she kissed me anymore. It was hungry. I zoomed in. My blood froze. I knew him, Marcus, my accountant. The man who had managed my finances for 5 years. The man I introduced to Sarah at a Christmas party. The man who told me I needed those large life insurance policies. It was the perfect scam. The wife and the money man. They weren't just stealing from me. They were harvesting me. And harvest time was in 7 days. Sadness is a luxury. I couldn't afford it anymore. They wanted an accident? I'd give them one, but not the one they planned. I had the digital proof. Now I needed the physical proof. I needed a confession. I turned our cozy little love nest into a surveillance state. Hidden cameras in the smoke detector. Behind the books. I swapped the poison pills for standard vitamin C. Let her think I was still being medicated. Friday night, 3 days before the accident. She came home buzzing. The anticipation of the big payout was making her giddy. "Let's have a drink," she said. I watched her in the kitchen on my phone screen, hidden under a cushion. And there it was, the smoking gun. A little vial tucked in her sleeve. 2 drops into my gin and tonic. Just enough to make me sloppy on the stairs or sleepy behind the wheel. To the future, she toasted. Her future, not mine. I held death in a tumbler glass. I knew Marcus was probably nearby, waiting for the "it's done" text. I had to trigger the endgame. I put the glass down on the coaster with a loud clink. I didn't drink. So tell me, Sarah, who is M? And why does he want me to have an accident on Monday? It was incredible to watch. The facade just dissolved. No more sweet Sarah. Just a cornered animal. What have you done? You've been snooping. You pathetic little man. No texting Marcus. He's already on his way here. I sent him a message from your laptop an hour ago. Told him it was done. Told him to come celebrate over the body right on cue. Marcus, always punctual. He was expecting a grieving widow. He got the husband he tried to murder. The look on his face was worth every penny they stole. I didn't just invite Marcus. I invited the Metropolitan Police, too. Turns out they're very interested in accountants who conspire to commit murder for insurance fraud. The USB drive was very helpful. They turned on each other before the cuffs were even on. It was her idea. He made me do it. Love is fickle when you're looking at 20 years in prison. They took them away. The flat was quiet again. Just me and the 2 poisoned drinks. I survived. I kept the house. I kept my life. But I lost the last 10 years. They say the truth will set you free. They don't tell you it leaves you standing alone in the wreckage. I was going to give her this next week for our anniversary. A renewal. A fresh start. Funny how things work out. *, subscribe for more stories of betrayal and justice.